and welcome to Penguins TV. Just finished a fantastic Game 1 between the New York Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Better game than I expected. I think the Islanders are a more competitive team this year. Maybe a little better than they were last year. I don't know if Tampa's better than they were last year, but I think the Islanders are for sure. Having a hard time picking this series. Coming into the series, I was thinking Tampa for sure. But just before the game today, I was like, I don't know, maybe the Islanders. And sure enough, the Islanders pull off a 2-1 win today. If you're an Islanders fan, you'd be very excited about the way they played today. If you had to pick between the two teams, it was a very close game. But if you had to pick between the two games, I would say the Islanders were the slightly better team. Varlamov was certainly the better goaltender, which was a little surprising. I thought it might be even there, but Varley was a little better. And the Islanders were probably the slightly better team. Very even game, very well played, lots of pace. I'm not going to sit here and say it was my favorite game of the playoffs, because to me, Colorado and Vegas is going to be very tough to beat for my favorite series of the entire playoffs. But this was a really good hockey game, and if this is what's indicative to come in this series, man, are we in for a treat. This looks like a fantastic series. Looks like it's going to go 6 or 7, and let's hope it does, because wow, what a treat so far. Let's get into the stats and talk about the tail of the tape and see how this happened here. If you're an Islanders fan, what do you want to be encouraged about? You want to be encouraged about the way that Varlamov played. He was extremely good. You want to be encouraged about the fact that the Islanders bent a little bit in the second and a little bit in the third under extreme pressure from Tampa Bay, but never came close to breaking. You want to be encouraged about the fact that Matthew Barzal scored the opening goal of the game. So it appears Matthew Barzal is taking that next step to superstardom. In the first round, he wasn't great against Pittsburgh, almost invisible. Second round against Boston, for 2-3 games he was invisible. Then he exploded. Now he's got, I don't know what it is, 5 goals, 3 assists in his last 7 games. He's a difference maker, which is what you want from one of the 2 or 3 fastest players in the NHL. Everyone says it's McDavid, but we know a few years ago in the skills contest, he beat McDavid in a foot race. Let's just call him one of the 3 fastest players in the NHL, and playing in a Barry Trotz system certainly is getting less offensive production than he could be in a different system. This guy's a game breaker. He's a superstar on the verge. He's certainly a star for sure. And the way he's continuing to play could be the difference in this series. So if you're an Islanders fan, be encouraged about Varlamov. He looked fantastic. Be encouraged about Barzal. He looked fantastic. Be encouraged about the Islanders. They were not outclassed in any way, shape, or form. If you made me pick between the two teams, I would say the Islanders were slightly a better team. But don't get on me, Tampa fans, for that. That's just my opinion. I think it was an excellent game. I'm just saying, if you made me pick who was the better team, well, I'm going to say the team that won was the better team. They had a little extra, I thought. If there's any area to be concerned about for the Islanders, they were 0 for 3 in the power play. And if you go 0 for 3 in the power play, that could be the difference in some games. So you really like to get 1 goal out of every 3-4 power plays. That would be the area of concern where I'd like to see the Islanders improve next game. Other than that, they played great. If they play like this next game and they chip one in the power play next game, they could win the next game as well. So if you're an Islanders fan, all kinds of good things to look at. I decided to keep running here with what to look at first instead of stats, even though I said stats. You know me, I change things on the fly. If you're Tampa Bay, what do you want to be encouraged about? Well, you want to be encouraged about the fact that they played Tampa Bay hockey. They threw lots of hits just like the Islanders did. They looked good. They didn't look rusty at all. I thought they had some better chances overall than the Islanders did. I actually thought Varlamov had to be a little better than Vasilevsky did. Not only did he have to be a little better, but he was a little better. Vasilevsky's second goal was the difference in the game. In my opinion, it was one he wants back. I think he's the best goaltender in the world. So again, Tampa fans, don't get on me for that. But I really think that second goal by Pollock from the point, it was a really big shot. But I saw it in real time, and I saw it twice in slow replay. And from what I can tell, there was no deflection on it. And if there was no deflection on that, you want your goaltender to stop that in the playoff game, especially a 1-0 playoff game. And that goal was the difference. Barzal's goal earlier in the game, you can't really blame Vasilevsky for that, a 1-on-1. Yes, he had a defenseman draped all over him, but it's Matthew Barzal on a mini break, and Vasilevsky's only human. I mean, do you give Vasilevsky, like any goaltender, a 50-50 chance? So you can't blame Vasilevsky on that one. The second one, if you want to hang your hat on anything, you could blame that one on Vasilevsky. Having said that, Vasilevsky let in 2 goals, and he's the best goaltender in the world. So you can't blame Vasilevsky. Could Tampa be better next game? Yeah, they could. They did score once on the power play at the very end of the game, a 6-on-4 with a pulled goalie, so they were 1 for 2. So Tampa Bay's power play, 16 power play goals now. You heard that right. 16 power play goals in 12 games. That's ridiculous. If that says anything to the Islanders, the second least penalized team in the NHL during the regular season, I can't remember what their playoff stats are, but they can't afford to be taking 2 power plays or giving 2 power plays to Tampa Bay each game if they're going to score on 1. They scored a 40% clip. They scored on 1 of 2 tonight. That's a problem. On the other side, the Islanders can't be going 0 for 3. So if you're Tampa, you're really impressed with your penalty kill. You're really impressed with your power play continuing to go forward. Your best player tonight, in my opinion, hands down, was Alex Killorn. I thought he was everywhere. I didn't notice Kucherov until the third period. Sorry, Tampa fans. I only noticed Braden Point in the first period and at the end of the period. Now, having said that, end of the third period, Kucherov did assist with Killorn, who I mentioned was their best player this game, on the point goal with about 52 seconds left on the power play. So, going into the next game, what needs to be better for Tampa? Well, it's hard to say that Vasilevsky and the goaltending in Tampa Bay need to be better, but that was the difference in this game. So where could you improve? I think you just need a better team game, just an extra 5% out of your team, and maybe you win this game 2-1 next game going forward. You can't blame Vasilevsky on a 2-1 loss when he only let in 2 goals, even though you want the second one back. It's just, it doesn't work that way. I know you want it back, but 2 goals and he's Vasilevsky. So Tampa Bay, feeling good going next game? Absolutely you could. You want to win the next one. You don't want to go down 2-0 going into that barn in the Coliseum in New York where you could come home down 3-1. That ain't good enough. Tampa Bay has to win the next game. The next game, in my opinion, is must win for Tampa Bay. Now, could Tampa Bay go down 2-0 and come back home 2-2? Absolutely. But I expect Tampa Bay to win the next game. Islanders fan, if you play this way again next game, you could be up 2-0. Fantastic series. I don't see any way after 4 games how this series isn't tied at 2. But that's why we play, isn't it? Okay, let's get into those stats that I promised. Stats, here we go. Let's go look. Okay, the second period goal was, there was no scoring in the first. Shots in the first were like 12-10 for the Islanders. A very close period. If you made me pick, I'd say the Islanders were the slightly better team in the first period. If you made me pick in the second, I'd say Tampa was the slightly better team in the second. And in the third, that's Bailey the dog barking. In the third, I would say the Islanders were the slightly better team again, but very close game, right down the middle. Again, Tampa fans, don't get on me. That's just my opinion, okay? The Matt Barzal goal in the second was a beauty. It was a mini break with a defenseman draped all over him. He beat Vasilevsky 5-hole and then went into the net and scored his body as well. Beautiful goal. I really liked it. That was his 4th goal of the playoffs, assisted by Josh Bailey, his 5th assist of the playoffs. In the third period, the Ryan Pulak goal, which I went over in detail a little while ago, it's his 3rd of the playoffs, assisted by Jordan Eberle, his 6th assist of the playoffs, and that was at 5:36 of the third period. At 19:07 of the third period was the Braden Point goal. His 9th of the playoffs in 11 or 12 games, whatever it is, insane. Assisted by Alex Killorn, his 7th assist of the playoffs. And Nikita Kucherov's 14th assist in his 12th playoffs game. Are you kidding? Incredible. The game ended 2-1. What a finish. What a game. Absolutely delicious. Now let's dive a little deeper into a little bit more of the stats, which I like to do. Shots on goal ended 31-31. Okay, hits 41 for the Islanders, 40 for Tampa Bay. Face-offs 28 for the Islanders and 18 for Tampa. I didn't know there was that big a disparity. Power plays I already went over. 1 for 2 was Tampa. What else would you expect? Watch out, Islanders. Now, Tampa being the most penalized team in the regular season, I didn't know about that. I knew the Islanders were the second least penalized team. So Tampa going 1 for 2, no surprise. Islanders going 0 for 3, that's going to be a problem going forward. If there's a room for improvement for the Islanders, that's it. They're going to have to start scoring on 1 out of every 3 or 4 power plays, and they're going to have to limit Tampa Bay. 1 for 2 it's legit. That's how scary that Tampa Bay power play is. Okay, total penalties, 8 minutes obviously in total for the Lightning, 6 for the Islanders. Block shots, 13 block shots for the Islanders, 8 block shots for the Lightning. I think a lot of those came in the first period. Takeaways, 6 takeaways for the Islanders, 8 takeaways for Tampa Bay. And giveaways, only 1 giveaway for the Islanders and 7 for the Lightning. Guys, I really appreciate you checking out my channel. Your subscriptions mean everything to me. Your support keeps me going on here. I know this month we've tripled my subscription base after being here for 4 months. So this has been a really good month since the playoffs started. Thank you for your support. Comment down below if you want to talk to me. You can ask me anything you want about any of the 32 teams. I have opinions about all of it. Most of it's informed, and sometimes you might like what I have to say. I'm going to be back here every night for every playoff game remaining this Stanley Cup season. There's somewhere between 11 and 20 more playoff games going with the 4 teams we have left. Check me out on Twitch. I'm here live for every game on twitch.tv, and I appreciate your support. Have a wonderful day. Go get vaccinated if you haven't yet. I say this every video. It hurt for a split second. I don't like needles, but it was the right thing to do, I thought, in my opinion. And what else? Be good to yourself, take care of yourself, and be good to other people. Have a great day, guys. Stay safe out there. Bye for now.